We're going to talk about singing bowls today because I've been seeing a lot of questions come up on the various online groups and forums that I'm a member of that are asking questions. Going to be some sort of basic kind of 101 things I'm going to cover, and hopefully this will just be a one-stop for some of those newer users to get a little bit more of a handle on the singing bowls and what to do with them and maybe how to play them a little bit. There is a lot of information out there. It is kind of scattered around, and I'm hoping to maybe get some of that information condensed down into a video or two, depending on how much content I have, to maybe help explain a lot of it. So if that sounds like something you want to learn about, then let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, let's go ahead and start with covering the types of singing bowls you might find. You'll have ancient and antique singing bowls. You'll have hand-hammered singing bowls. You'll have machined or forged brass and aluminum singing bowls, and then you would have the quartz crystal bowls. And I'll just tackle each one of those real quick, little high-level overview of them, and maybe talk a little bit about maybe what their sonic qualities are, which will help maybe make you make a better informed decision when you go ahead and order these or go out and look for them on your own. So the first up would be the ancient or antique singing bowls. Now these would be ones that were made probably hundreds of years ago with very precious metals for the time. They probably have been sitting in a temple for hundreds of years. They have a really nice, patina on them from their use. They probably have a lot of like temple dust and incense smoke on them, and they have a very unique sonic quality and properties to them. I can't really talk too much on those any more than that. If you want more information on like the antique singing bowls, definitely go check out the Singing Bowl Museum's YouTube channel. He has a wealth of information and a lot of informative videos on antique and singing bowls. So I will try to put a link to his channel in the description below. And let's go ahead and get moved on to the hand-hammered ones. Now the hand-hammered ones come mass-produced from places like over in Nepal area, India, Himalayas, and they would look like this. They have the hammer strike marks, as you can see, and some imperfections, like it's not necessarily perfectly thick around the rim. They could have some engraving on them, and that is sort of what they look like. The finish might be a little off in some spots because they are handmade and they are handcrafted. They are mass produced. I have seen photos of people sitting there picking out sets in rooms with just stacks of these things all over the place. The sonic qualities of these types of singing bowls is they have a resonance to them. So after they get striked, they will kind of emit a pulsing, resonance, like a wobble almost. And depending on the size of the singing bowl, you might get a lower kind of wobble. You might get a higher wobble. You can actually, if you have multiple of these, you can sort of play the resonance waves. So you can take one and hit it, and then you can wait for it to drop, and you can maybe hit another one to bring that resonance up over it and kind of build a sonic soundscape that way. And I will get into that a little bit more when I cover how to play the bowls. But in the meantime, I'm just going to strike this once so you can have a listen and kind of maybe catch how it sort of does that resonance wave. So I'll just take the striker here and just tap it here a little medium hard, I think, so you can hear it. Catch that? I'm kind of doing the hand motion to kind of give a visual representation of that. Wom, 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 wom. And it's still going if you can pick it up on my phone camera. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the machined or forged aluminum or brass bowls. And those are going to look something more like this. They're maybe a little bit more decorative. As you can tell, this has the Sanskrit writing. It has something going on the inside, has something going on the underside. But as you can tell, it is very symmetrical. It's shaped perfectly shaped almost, so you can tell it's machined. I'm gonna try to get this in there, but you can see the machining lines across here where it was crafted or machined or forged. Um, these have a different sound to them. They have a little less, not so much of a resonance like these have. These have more of a uh, a sort of like a sharp and then a flat, I guess, is the way I would explain it. I don't have too much musical theory or anything like that. So I'm just going to hit this and you will kind of hear it like start with like a higher pitch and then it'll kind of ring out and it'll sort of drop into like a lower kind of drone. And of course, this one is, I think it was a heart chakra. It's green. I don't remember what it said on the box, but it must be tuned to some sort of tone that was supposed to correspond to that chakra. But I will go ahead and give this a tap so you can hear how this sounds. Again, same striker, medium, probably about a medium strike on this, just so the phone can maybe pick it up. Still going a little bit, but as you can tell, that's more of a standard tone. It doesn't have so much of that wobble. It has more of a peak and then sort of a drop, and it just levels out. And some of these will have decorations on them. I've seen some that have like Buddhas and lotuses that are like out, like 3D images on there on the outside. They're very decorative, and there's no wrong answer. If you like the way these look and sound, by all means, get these. If you prefer something like this, by all means, get this. If you're looking for quartz or crystal, which is what we're going to get into next, then do some research on those, take a look at them, and see how those work for you as well. Now that we've gone ahead and covered the antique bowls, the hand-hammered bowls, and the brass, aluminum, machined, or forged bowls, we need to talk about the crystal or quartz singing bowls. If you've ever seen those before, you know that they're the frosted glass ones. They sit kind of taller usually than say what this would be, and they are usually played by having a mallet circled around the top of them. And what that does is that emits a very low drone tone. Now they can be struck, but they have to be struck with care and they have to be struck with special silicone, tipped mallets. Of all of the singing bowls, the quartz and the crystal ones are probably going to be the most delicate. So you probably want to keep that in mind while you're considering what you want to purchase. I don't own any crystal singing bowls. I don't know if I ever will get one. And if I do, I might just get one just for that low tone to play as maybe a change up or every once in a while. The problem with the quartz or crystal singing bowls is they can get very, very loud and they can get very, very overwhelming for people. It's important to consider some of that when you're picking out these bowls and when you're picking out what you want to play. All right, that covers the types of singing bowls that are out there. Now let's go ahead and take a moment and move on into what your intentions are with the singing bowls. You are facilitating a sound journey for somebody else. That takes energy, and you should know what your intentions are so you can direct that energy into your practice. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you really think about it, I mean, there's so many of these, they're so mass produced, these are not magical items, okay? This does nothing. If somebody just looked at this, they probably think it was just somebody's bowl to water their dog. I don't know. So it's us as the facilitators that have to direct the energy into these healing modalities, if you will. We are the ones that put the energy into these things, and we have to have the intention behind them because it's an energy transfer. When you put your energy into these to facilitate a sound journey, you are exchanging energy. And if you have a good intention behind the energy exchange, your clients and maybe your peers will be able to sense that and sense that you are coming from a heart-centered place of providing a good sonic experience for the people you play for. All right, now that we've discussed a little bit about intentions with your singing bowl practice, let's go ahead and move on to the different types of strikers that you might find with your singing bowls. And you're going to see about 3 different types of strikers. You're going to see the famous and probably most standard mallet kind of striker, which has the red felt on the top. This one's about 1 foot long. You can see this in white, blue. It could have a bigger diameter for the striking surface. Those might get into more like gong strikers and things, but this is usually your kind of standard mallet. Then you have the standard striking wand, which is something similar to this. It's wood. It will have a felt or suede like covering on one end, and then wood on the other for the handle. You can see them in variations. This has a bit of a contoured handle, a different type of suede on it. It's a different type of wood. When I ordered my set off the internet, mine came with a bunch of different strikers that were thicker, more dense, but I'm going to just use this one for demonstration purposes. The next kind of striker, or I guess thing you could find, would be this. This is actually used more around to circle the edge or the top of the bowl to make it emit a low, like humming tone. You can also use this as a striker. I believe that I have seen this actually called an inviter on some websites. So I think just for ease of use, this would be a mallet. This would be a wand or just a standard striker. This would be an inviter or striker, I suppose. And then, of course, you have things like this. This is a longer striker, as you can tell. I can use this to reach across and like maybe pluck a bull that is a little bit more out of my reach, so I don't have to bend so far. These, of course, come in all sorts of different thicknesses, hardnesses, lengths. So you can take a look at how these work too. All right, now that we've discussed the types of strikers that you'll commonly see, I'm going to go ahead and just take each one and hit the bowl so you can kind of tell how the sound is going to be a little bit different between each of those. I'm not going to use the longer one I just showed. I'm just going to use the standard mallet, the standard wand striker, and then the inviter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this going. We'll start off with the hand hammered, the red one. Just going to let it ring for like maybe 8 seconds or so. All right, now we'll use the standard striking wand. And then the inviter, I'm going to actually strike it and then I'll just go around the top of it. So I'll give it a strike, wait about 5 seconds, and then I'll... Sounds very similar to this when it struck, but this one will let me and we'll just do the green one real quick. You can't tell, there's not too much variation between those two strikes. This one though will get real loud. It can almost become almost like a siren. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're getting one of these hand hammered ones as well. I did talk over that, but you get the idea. So different strikers will tease out different tones usually on the types of singing bowls you have. Moving on to opening them up and getting them set up. And for this, I'm going to switch cameras around and probably do a top-down type of thing so we can take a look and cover that.